Many people search for extraordinary solutions to change their lives, believing they must find something rare or complex to become fulfilled. But lasting transformation is almost always built on simple, clear habits repeated with patience and sincerity. You do not need more information or greater ambition. You need the discipline to do what you already know is true. The first habit is to begin every morning in stillness. When you wake, before reaching for your phone or rushing into the day, take a few moments to simply sit and breathe. This small practice reminds you that you are not a machine built only for doing. You are a living being whose presence must be cultivated. The second habit is to care for your body with consistency. Eat nourishing food, drink water, move daily. These are not punishments or obligations. They are expressions of respect. When you care for your body, you create a foundation strong enough to carry your purpose. The third habit is to speak honestly. Many conflicts and regrets arise because people say what is convenient instead of what is true. Honesty does not mean you are harsh. It means you do not hide behind excuses. You learn to express yourself with clarity and kindness at the same time. The fourth habit is to finish what you start. So much energy is wasted in beginning many things but completing none. Discipline grows when you choose one task and follow it to the end, even when it becomes uncomfortable or boring. Completion builds trust in yourself. The fifth habit is to spend time in silence each day. Silence allows the noise of the world to settle, so you can hear what is most essential inside you. In silence, you remember that you already have what you need. None of these habits will appear extraordinary to the mind that is addicted to distraction and novelty. But if you practice them sincerely, they will change the way you see yourself and the world. They will give you strength that does not depend on circumstances and a sense of peace that cannot be taken away. When you first wake up, your mind is open and unguarded. In these early moments, you have the rare chance to choose how you will meet the day. Many people immediately reach for their devices, pulling themselves into the noise of the world before they have even remembered who they are. They fill their heads with opinions, distractions, and worries that do not belong to them. Slowly, this habit steals their clarity and their peace. Heng often teaches that the first habit you cultivate in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin in stillness, you remind yourself that you are not simply reacting to life. You are capable of meeting it with presence. You become the observer instead of the prisoner of your thoughts. When you wake, sit quietly for a few minutes. Feel your breath moving in and out of the body. Notice the sensations that arise. You are not trying to achieve anything or solve any problem. You are simply creating a space to arrive fully in the moment. This practice is not about perfection. Your mind will wander. Thoughts will come and go. This is natural. Each time you return your attention to the breath, you are strengthening the part of you that can remain calm in the middle of any storm. Over time, you will notice that this morning stillness begins to change how you relate to the challenges of the day. Instead of being pulled by every small irritation or demand, you will feel an inner steadiness. You will remember that you have the power to respond consciously rather than react automatically. Heng reminds us that greatness does not start with extraordinary actions. It starts with small, sincere commitments. The discipline of beginning your day in silence is one of these commitments. It is an act of respect for your own mind and a way to honor the life you have been given. Even if the rest of your day is busy or chaotic, you will know that you have already touched a place of peace within yourself. And this quiet foundation will support you far more than any external success. Your body is not separate from your mind. It is the vessel through which all experience flows. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, is reflected in your body, and every imbalance in the body affects the clarity of your mind. This is why the habit of caring for your physical form is not a luxury or something optional. It is the ground from which all strength, clarity, and discipline can grow. Many people wait until pain arrives before they begin to pay attention to the body. They see care only as a reaction to illness or fatigue, not as a form of respect. But true mastery begins with prevention, not repair. To move your body each day, even for a short time, is not about chasing a certain image or goal. It is about creating flow. When you stretch, walk, breathe deeply, you unlock tension and bring vitality back into your system. Heng reminds us that the body is a reflection of how we live. If the body is heavy, the spirit often feels stuck. If the body is rigid, the mind tends to be inflexible. But if the body is awake and well cared for, the inner state becomes more fluid, more adaptable, more resilient. This does not require complex training or long routines. It only requires consistency. Honesty is a habit that many admire in theory but struggle to embody in daily life. It is easy to tell ourselves that small lies do not matter, that avoiding the truth will spare others pain or preserve our own comfort. But every time you choose to say what is convenient rather than what is true, you weaken the foundation upon which your life is built. Over time, these small compromises create distance between who you are and how you show yourself to the world. Heng teaches that honesty does not mean you must be harsh or unkind. It means you learn to speak with clarity, free of masks and excuses. When you speak honestly, you respect yourself and those around you. You no longer use words to manipulate, impress, or protect an image. Instead, your words become a reflection of your sincerity. This is not always easy. There will be moments when telling the truth feels risky, when it seems simpler to hide, but in these moments you have a chance to grow. Honesty is also the beginning of true self-respect. When you are honest with others, you create relationships that are rooted in trust rather than illusion. When you are honest with yourself, you can no longer pretend that you do not see your own patterns and choices. This is why honesty can feel uncomfortable. It shines a light in places you would prefer to keep hidden. Yet this light is not there to judge you. It is there to show you where your freedom lies. Practicing this habit requires patience. You may notice how often you are tempted to exaggerate, to withhold, or to bend the truth so that it feels easier. When this happens, simply bring your awareness back. Recognize that these impulses come from fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of losing control. But when you choose honesty anyway, you begin to see that your worth does not depend on being perfect or pleasing everyone. It depends on your willingness to be real. Heng reminds us that the habit of speaking honestly is like clearing a path through dense forest. With each truthful word, you remove the obstacles that block understanding. Over time, this path becomes open and clear, and you walk it with a sense of lightness and integrity that cannot be taken away. Finishing what you start is one of the simplest habits to understand and one of the most difficult to practice. Many people feel a surge of enthusiasm when they begin something new. The mind is filled with possibility, the spirit feels awakened, but as time passes and the initial excitement fades, discipline must take the place of inspiration. This is the moment when most people stop. They tell themselves that perhaps it was the wrong project or that the timing is not right. In truth, it is often not the task that is lacking, it is the commitment to see it through. Heng teaches that each time you abandon what you have begun, you weaken your trust in yourself. You create a pattern of incomplete cycles. Over time, this pattern becomes a habit of avoidance. The mind starts to believe that you are not capable of perseverance, that you are someone who gives up when things become uncomfortable, but the opposite is also true. Each time you complete something, no matter how small, you build an inner strength that becomes part of your character. Completion does not mean perfection. It means you stay with a process long enough to honor your original intention. It means you resist the urge to distract yourself with something easier or more immediately rewarding. It means you recognize that boredom and frustration are not signs you should quit. They are signs you are growing. When you meet these feelings with patience, you transform them into discipline. Heng reminds us that discipline is not about force. It is about respect. Respect for your own word, respect for the effort you have invested, respect for the life that has given you the opportunity to act. When you finish what you start, you send yourself a clear message: your commitments matter. You are someone who can be relied upon, especially by yourself. This habit may seem small compared to the ambitions you hold, but it is the foundation for everything meaningful. If you train yourself to complete the things you begin, whether it is a conversation, a daily practice, or a creative work, you will discover that your mind becomes more stable and your purpose becomes clearer. In this way, finishing is not just an act. It is a discipline that changes who you are. Silence is a habit that many underestimate because it appears so simple. People are often convinced that progress requires constant motion, that growth is only possible through effort and striving. But there is a depth that can only be discovered when you become still, when you stop chasing noise and allow your awareness to settle. In this quiet, something essential begins to reveal itself. Heng teaches that silence is not the absence of life. It is the place where life becomes most vivid. When you sit without distraction, without the need to solve or to perform, you begin to notice how restless the mind truly is. Thoughts appear and dissolve like clouds across a clear sky. Emotions rise and fall, urges to check, to react, to plan. They all come and go. In observing this movement without interfering, you discover that you are not these thoughts. You are the space in which they unfold. This habit of daily silence does not need to be complicated. You can begin with only a few minutes. Sit comfortably, breathe naturally, and allow everything inside you to be as it is. You are not trying to improve or change your experience. You are simply watching, with the curiosity of someone meeting themselves for the first time. As you practice, you will notice that the mind begins to soften. The compulsive need to react loses its strength. What remains is a quiet clarity that can guide you far more wisely than any impulsive thought. Heng often reminds us that silence is where you remember who you are beyond your roles and identities. In the world, you must play many parts: parent, worker, friend, student. But when you return to silence, you step outside these definitions. You taste something deeper than your story. From this place, you can respond to life with more sincerity and less fear. Over time, this simple habit becomes an anchor. When challenges arise, you do not need to be swept away by confusion or panic. You have trained yourself to find stillness even in the middle of chaos. And it is from this stillness that true strength, clarity, and compassion naturally grow. This is the quiet power of practicing silence each day. In the end, the habits that will change your life forever are not hidden or complicated. They are simple practices that require sincerity, patience, and the willingness to return again and again, even when progress seems invisible. When you begin each day in stillness, you remember that you are more than your thoughts. When you care for your body, you honor the vessel through which all experience comes. When you speak honestly, you build relationships rooted in trust. When you finish what you start, you develop a discipline that no obstacle can shake. And when you spend time in silence, you reconnect with the part of you that is untouched by doubt and fear. These habits will not transform you overnight, but if you walk this path with humility, they will gradually reveal a strength and clarity that